What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Bad and Barred. It's your girl, ADB, and y'all, I'm here. I posted on my Instagram the other day, and I'm so glad I'm not the only one who felt like this because I posted a retweet, but it said, I'm so tired of hearing everybody talking, including myself, and felt. I have not been as consistent and diligent as I should with producing podcast content because I'm so tired of hearing words. Like, there are so many words, so many takes. Everybody has something to say, everybody has so many thoughts. And in this anti-intellectual age that we're living through, nobody is fact-checking anything. Nobody is researching. People just on the platforms talking. And I just be wanting to say, will y'all shut up? I really just have been wanting everybody to be quiet, which lets me know that it might be time for me to have a little social media detox moment because I'm so tired of hearing all the takes, especially the gender wars, the black man versus black woman war trope that's happening right now. Diddy, Cassie, all the things. There's just so much going on where people are just yapping and everybody sounds so stupid. And so I'm like, do I have anything to put out into the world, like of value? I want to like create things of substance, but also sometimes it's okay to be quiet. The Bible says there's a season for everything, and I believe that there is a season for silence. So truthfully, I think I might end this season soon so that I can regroup and figure out what type of content I can bring into this space that is of value and that feels good, feels authentic and high energy, because I don't just want to keep producing stuff that is, without me feeling like I'm adding value to the space. So yeah, I'm planning to talk about something that's a little personal going on right now. And I don't usually share things that are happening in my life as they are happening. I usually wait until like the success comes or the achievement is reached, and then I will walk backwards to talk about it. But I feel compelled to share what is happening with my career right now. And I feel a little apprehensive because, again, this is out of my norm, out of my comfort zone, because I feel like sometimes you start talking too much, telling people your plans, and people start preying on your downfall. I don't know if that's a real thing. I don't know if that actually happens, but it's how I was raised. Keep your mouth shut until it's going. But I also believe, like in the scripture, that we live by the word and by our testimony. So I'm just going to share kind of my own testimony, my personal story about what's going on with my career on today's episode. And I want to hear your thoughts. I would love some encouragement because, baby, I've been in my head over here. So, long story short, 2 weeks ago, I quit my job. Oh my gosh. First of all, let me just say, girl, how are we back here? Like, how did we get back here? If you know me, one thing you know is that I'm going to quit a job. I have quit several jobs, but this time just felt different because I actually really liked my job. I enjoyed what I was doing. I love civil rights law, so to be in a firm that allowed me full control and allowed me to maneuver my docket in a way that made sense to me, and working remote, like all of the things just felt good. I was able to go to trial. I have federal civil rights trial experience now as a result of this job, and the people ultimately were good. Like, I did not have any major qualms or whatever, but it just like really this time has been me stepping out on faith. So in the past, I have quit jobs for more serious reasons, like things just weren't, like the work environment was toxic for me. The legal field already has a lot of issues, and so for me to be in a workspace that I'm going to spend most of my day in, I at least have to have the bare basics, like the minimum of like respect and, okay, I can walk in and do my job here and not feel like I'm suffocating. And truthfully, like in several of the places that I've worked before, I did not feel that way. And several times I just was like, okay, I'm gonna bear down and tough it out until I couldn't, and then I quit. That was not the case this time. And so I'm like, girl, oh my God, what are we doing? But To know me is also to know that I'm a Christian and that I am walking this journey of life with the Lord at the helm. And so I started hearing God's voice last year about it being time for me to go back into entrepreneurship. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm not ready for that yet. For those who don't know, I opened my own firm back in 2019. I got married and opened my firm all within a couple of months of each other. And then y'all know what happened. Miss Covisha came and shut the world down a few months later in 2020. And so at the end of 2019, I was popping off. I had just purchased like an office, at least an office downtown. It was super nice. Like I was confident I was on top of the world. And then COVID came and like rocked my world. I was not prepared at all for COVID, honey. First of all, I was doing criminal law. The court shut down. And so what does that mean? Clients are like, girl, we don't need you anymore. The courts are closed or they're dismissing cases. And so my clients started losing their jobs. I primarily served like low to mid income populations and a lot of them were being laid off. And so I started losing clients left and right. So many people that I had contracts with were canceling their contracts, and it absolutely shook me to my core. I was terrified. And I'm like, Lord, you gave me this dream. You gave me this vision. What are we doing? Like, how did we end up here just a few months later? So at that particular time, my fear kind of took over. It was louder than my faith. And I was like, all right, we tapping out. We tapping out of the game. This is too much. I have too many people canceling on me. And I was a one-man show. I was the lawyer in the courtroom. I was the accountant. I was the marketing agent and specialist. I was doing it all. I had even at one point, like, I was like, okay, I need some help. And I hired 2 interns from my alma mater because that was one of the things I said is that I wanted to give back to my HBCU and pull somebody up as I was climbing. So I was like moving and shaking, but it became too much to handle in the midst of a global pandemic. It just was like, all right, this is too much. The money wasn't adding up. And after like a little bit under a year, I was like, okay, girl, like, it's time to wrap this show on up because my mental health took a severe plummet as a result of like one, quick burnout, and then 2, like the COVID situation, the navigating the world in an unknown era. It just was entirely too much. So I tapped out. That I forgot to mention to y'all is that I graduated law school. Was I 23? I think I was 23 years old. And I opened my own law firm right after turning 25. So I literally was like a young girl out here bopping around, like navigating and learning how to practice law while learning how to run my own firm. Like when I think about it, I'm mind blown at like just the trajectory of my life. And it was like, girl, you were really popping off. Like, I did not realize the magnitude of what I was doing back then. I was just like, yeah, like I'm a girl boss. This is how I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. But doing all that at 25, it's like, girl, you could slow down a little bit. Like, what are you doing? All in all, like my mental health took a severe plummet. And I just started spiraling and I was like, okay, like I need to find a job. And it just so happened that a job fell in my lap. One thing led to another and things started moving really quickly. And so I ultimately I spent the last 5 years, with this dream kind of in the back of my mind of reopening my firm. I always knew that I would come back. Let me just say that. I always knew that I would come back to opening my firm again. I knew that when I left that I was just pushing a pause button. Now I did feel like in my mind, I was like, okay, girl, we're going to come back when we're like 40 because we're going to be much more established. We are going to, have our life together by then. You've had a kid, a marriage, a house, and like you'll have money and it'll just make sense. Nothing could have prepared me for the Lord to say, girl, now. Go now. Now is the time. And, that just goes back to the scripture of like our timing and our plans are comical to God because boy, oh boy, here we are. And so, like I said, last year, I started feeling this urge. It was not just a thought in the background of my mind. It started being like a pressing, consistent, like urge, a thought, a feeling of like, okay, this is something we need to look into. This is something we need to start pursuing again. And I really tried to fight it. I tried to ignore it because I'm like, no, I don't want to go back down that route right now. It's not time for that right now. I got daycare. I have a mortgage. This ain't when I was 23. Like, no, we are grown. We are a big girl now with big girl bills. And entrepreneurship is just not time. Like it's not time for that right now. Look at the world. I kept saying that. Like even to my therapist, I kept saying this doesn't make sense because the world, the economy that we're currently functioning and existing in, girl, it makes no sense. And even as I was telling her that the Lord dropped into my spirit, well, perhaps you were created for such a time as this, the scripture in Esther, where he was speaking to her, it came into my mind and I'm like, oh my God, I spent months pushing this thing off. I'm like, no, I'm not going to think about that. I'm not trying to like go down that route. I'm going to come back to that when I'm ready. And the more I said that, the more uncomfortable I became at work, the more like mentally frustrated and anxious I felt because it was like it became a constant thing. And this is for all of the dreamers out there. When God has placed a dream within you, it's not for everybody to understand. And sometimes it is just for you and for you to walk along your journey with the Lord on, because everybody ain't gonna get it. You cannot go around telling everybody your plans all the time because people will start sowing seeds of doubt, fear, worry. And if you anything like me, you already got that going on in your own head. You don't need any additional help with that. And so you can have your plans and you can have your journey charted out, certainly like I did. But when the Lord come in and say go, you have to move and you have to walk in obedience. Because disobedience comes with sacrifice and it comes with so much other turmoil and stress. And so I spent like a few months in this state of like discomfort because I'm like, I hear what you're saying to me, Lord. So then I started asking for signs. I'm like, okay, if you for real, if you really saying you about this life, if you gonna put me out there into the world, don't have me out here looking crazy. And so I started asking God to show me signs. And each time I asked, he showed me one. And I'm like, oh God, now I really gotta go down this walk. Now I really have to do this. And so here I am walking and stepping out on the strong leap of faith, honey, a strong leap of faith. And I'm so thankful that I have the support of my husband who has been pushing me and encouraging me. And both of us, like reality, like faith is real, but so is doubt. And I feel like I've been taught so much in a church about just faith it out. But this walk has been a true testament of like doing it with doubt because I have so much faith, but I also like my logical brain. I am a lawyer, so I'm trained in logic. And when I look around with my physical eyes and see what I see, maybe this isn't the smartest logical move right now, but this is truly a faith move. And so I'm like, okay, I have to do it in spite of my doubt. I have to move and operate in a way that God is pushing me, even though I have a lot of natural human logic and doubt that is welling up within me. And it is hard. It is a lot mentally. It is a lot mentally, but I've been taking this thing like one at a time. My bar coach when I was in law school said the way that you eat an elephant is one bite at a time. And it's like, again, that was an analogy for studying for the bar because studying for the bar was literally like this huge, massive thing. And so you just take one little bite at a time and then you realize, you look up, like at the end, the elephant is gone and now it's time to conquer, or that you have conquered. And so that's kind of how I'm seeing this phase that I'm in right now. Quitting my job was the first step, and it was really hard. And like I said, God had to really push me, like to the point of my body having so much stress and anxiety and worry that I developed an autoimmune disease from that stress, from my cortisol levels being so high for months and months and months and months, and not tending to my spirit in a way that I needed to, and not tending to my body, my physical flesh in the way that I needed to. Mental health is so real. It is so important. You need to focus in on what your inner body is saying. Listen to your body. Your body speaks. You can listen to and hear your body. You got to kind of clear out some of that external noise. But when you stop and tap in your body, tap into what your body is telling you, what your spirit is saying, and actually walk and do the things that you need to do to nourish and tend to those things, you end up on the right path. You will. And so I know that I'm going to end up on the right path, the right journey for myself right now. But I would be lying to you if I said a girl wasn't a little bit scared. But I have a lot more confidence this time. I am 7 years in. I have litigated so many cases. I've been now in state and federal court. I know so much more. I know how to navigate the law. I can now walk into a courtroom without all the fear. That was one of the things that was super stifling for me before, is that I was a confident person, but when I walked into the courtroom, I was super aware of like everybody's perceptions of me. Like, what does this person think? How do they feel about me? And now, truthfully, I'm not there anymore. I don't care. I'm here. I'm supposed to be here. God called me here. I'm supposed to be in this courtroom regardless of what you think or how you feel about me. I'm here and I'm going to take up space. I'm going to do what I came here to do, and I'm going to do it well. I'm going to do it well. And so I'm just in a different space now than I was 7 years ago, 5 years ago. Like I am exactly who I think I am. Like I had a lot of doubt in myself before, and it's like I'm not moving or operating in my own strength. I'm moving and operating with divine purpose and with divine help that is strengthening me. And so the mindset that I have now has shifted so much. I became a mom, a wife, so my boundaries are 10 times stronger. Back then, I used to pick up my phone for clients in the middle of the night. No lie. I remember going to bail one of my clients out of jail in the middle of the night, like showing up. I would pour my wholehearted self. That is a quick way to burn out. That is the fastest way to burn out, is to lawyer with no boundaries. And so now I just see things so much differently, and I know what I need to do to both advocate zealously for the people that I represent and also protect me, and do things so that I can show up for my family, show up for myself, for my friends. Like there has to be some balance. And I've learned that over these past 7 years as I'm navigating and practicing in the law. And so those are the things that I'm taking with me. I have learned so many lessons, but I feel so much more equipped. And really, truthfully, it's called the practice of law because everybody is practicing. We're all figuring it out. And at first I started thinking in my head, well, you don't know this, you don't know that, because I'm adding a new practice area this time to the type of law that I'm going to be practicing. I'm adding something new. And it's something that I've kind of been dibbling and dabbling in over the years, but I'm no expert in it. And so I was kind of talking to myself, and I talked to another attorney, and she was like, babe, you went to law school and you passed the bar. You have exactly what you need. You are equipped to figure it out. You are resourceful. And that's the biggest thing, is you can figure it out. You may not know it, but we got figure out ability. And so I'm taking that with me. And more so than confidence is really confidence. I know that I have this supernatural strength and power operating on my behalf. I'm not operating in my own strength, because if I were, I would not be able to do half the things that I've done and accomplished in life, because I, in my own strength, have a lot of flaws. I do. And so I'm like, okay, I am doing this with a whole different mindset this time than I did before. And I'm looking forward to it. So I have a dichotomy of emotions, from worry, a little bit of fear, but also girl, yes, let's get to it. Let's get to our dream. This has always been my dream. It has been my dream to own and operate my own law firm. And maybe one day I will have the opportunity to employ somebody, right? Bring on some other lawyers, some more interns. Like, this has been my dream. And so I'm like, why am I going to continue to delay this when I have what I need right now to do it? I have been thinking about, like I said, for so long, the conditions in the world that we're operating in. But in reality, we're truly at the end of the world. Like, if this is the end, because we're seeing so much around us is like, girl, is this the end times that we living in? If this is the end, we might as well go down doing something that we loved. You might as well go out pursuing your dreams, right? Like, why go down in misery and in hate with what you're doing every single day with yourself? If you have a dream, chase it, pursue it, and don't keep stalling. Do it right now. That is the message that I have for you today. So I am hoping and planning to bring you guys along on this journey with me. Again, I have so many thoughts, feelings, and emotions about this whole process. And sometimes I'm like, I don't want to be vulnerable today to share this with the world, but I'm trying to do better because I am confident that there's somebody who needs to hear this. And I know that for a fact, because when I posted that I was starting my own law firm 5 years ago, somebody messaged me a few months ago saying that video on YouTube from 5 years ago pushed them and encouraged them to open up their own dreams. I've never met this person in my life. Met her via IG a few months back, and she said watching that video, and she's all the way across the country. And so I'm like, okay, I know that I need to document this and bring people back because I am reactivating my faith in a way that looks totally different than what it did back then. And this time it's going to be so much better. And I'm speaking that out of faith and truly believing that God is going to show up and show out. And that even when the journey may get a little bit like leery or I feel worried or whatever, like I'm confident that God has got my back and that it is going to work out and that I'm not going to let fear overtake my brain this time. So here we are. We are back into pursuing full-time entrepreneurship, and it's taken me a lot to get to this moment, but I'm so excited. So you guys stay tuned, be on the lookout for what's next. And here is a welcome back to ADB Law. I will see y'all next time. Thank y'all so much for tuning into another episode.